Labour has come under fire from veteran MP George Galloway for their capitulation following the crushing Hartlepool by-election defeat, accusing former leaders Tony Blair and Jeremy Corbyn of breaking the party beyond repair. Sir Keir Starmer only took over as Labour Party leader a year ago following a disastrous general election result in December 2019 masterminded by Jeremy Corbyn. But just a year into the job, he is facing a huge backlash from within Labour after the party suffered an embarrassing defeat in the Hartlepool by-election. In a crushing blow, the Conservative Party won with a majority of 6,940, a seat Labour had held since it was formed in 1974, and yet more evidence its red wall is crumbling at an alarming pace. Labour had shocked many by selecting Paul Williams, an outspoken Remainer, as its candidate for Hartlepool, where nearly 70% of people voted for the UK to leave the European Union. The move has backfired spectacularly, with allies of Sir Keir now admitting the crushing defeat is an absolutely shattering hammer blow. Mr Galloway, who was a Labour MP for 16 years, has been left furious by the party's latest election humiliation and has pinned the blame on its demise on Tony Blair and Jeremy Corbyn. He raged on Twitter, "The betrayal of Brexit driven by the Blairites and capitulated to by the Corbynites has broken Labour beyond repair." Several people threw their support behind Mr Galloway's comments, with one person replying, "I am convinced the Labour Brexit strategy of 2019 was designed to ensure Corbyn lost his job. There is no other rational explanation. The trouble is, I don't think they factored in just how much lasting damage it would do to their party." A second Twitter user commented, "Labour is like a racehorse with a broken leg trying to finish a race it can't win with a bad jockey. The horse knows itself it bolted before the race even started." Another person added, "So very true, George. Back in 2019 I said non-stop that it was political suicide to force a second referendum, but as usual they resorted to name calling and saying how wrong we were. Well, it is they who are wrong and it is they who have killed off the Labour Party." Labour famously flip-flopped on its Brexit position, regularly changing its stance before Sir Keir finally admitted a short time into his membership the party's hopes of reversing the departure from the EU were over. Mr Corbyn oversaw two general election defeats, first to Theresa May in June 2017 before most recently suffering a crushing defeat to Boris Johnson, which handed the Conservatives a massive majority in Westminster. However, veteran MP Mr Galloway continued his tirade against Labour on Twitter, tearing apart 5 of the party's key policies. He also wrote, "Labour will continue to audit statues and police personal pronouns, proselytise for every weird and wonderful identity politics fad, support the EU against Britain, sucker separatism in Scotland and Wales until it disappears up its own fundament." Several people threw their support behind Mr Galloway's comments, with one Twitter user replying, "The voters can see this, George. So why not the Labour politicians themselves? They are totally detached from reality." A second person tweeted, "Keir Starmer killed them off. As much as I disliked Corbyn, he got the younger generation out voting Labour. Starmer has undone all that and more, especially when he uttered the phrase 'please give Labour another look.'" Another Twitter user replied, "They are appealing to a small minority but chasing the majority of normal people away. If the Labour Party was a business reliant on customers it would be insolvent."